Sellers and Makers podcast brings the community to you. We talk to small business owners about work, life, and everything in between. Subscribe to Sellers and Makers podcast so you never miss an episode. Hi, and welcome to Sellers and Makers podcast, a place artisans can come together in community. Brought to you by Everything Embroidery Market. I'm your host, Hope Dale, and
I'm Christina Schulman. Hello, and welcome to our last podcast episode of season 3. I can't believe we're here already. Woo! And today we're talking with Camille. Camille's actually part of our team and my sister. So
don't forget that.
Uh-oh, I didn't hear what you said. What?
I said, don't forget that important detail, the sister part.
Some very important detail.
Very important detail. Yes. And so Camille is, I think y'all have probably heard, if you've been listening along on these podcasts, have heard that I'm the crazy, disorganized, I have ideas out the wazoo portion. Camille reels me in a little bit. Hope organizes all my crazy thoughts, and Camille tells me no half the time. But but without you two, we wouldn't have an organized, awesome show. And Norma's the other part of our
huge part.
Yes, another huge part of our team for Everything Embroidery Market. So before we jump into our podcast for today, I want to mention that our next Everything Embroidery Market is going to be in Lafayette, Louisiana, March 3rd through 5th. Registration is live now. Go over to our website. Yeah, get your tickets. Go over to eemshows.com. Check out our full list of lineups for classes, vendors, everything that we have to offer. Register now. Some classes are already filling up, so there will be some sellout classes. And so if there's anything that you are interested in, grab your tickets now because you could miss it if you don't. So without further ado, I feel like we need a drum roll, like a little.
Maybe I can add it in after.
Yeah. Yes, but today I thought it would be fun with this being our last podcast before we hit it hard, talking about the show in our live videos that we do with our vendors and instructors. I thought today would be fun because we've had several people kind of ask us, how do you plan? Like, what is the process of getting, the conception in your head? Like, this is where we want to be. How do we get that to a full-fledged Everything Embroidery Market event? So the truth of the matter is it's a long process. It's a long process. And like I said earlier, not one of us could do it on our own. We have an awesome team. Hope is kind of my right-hand lady as far as keeping me organized on a day-to-day basis and making sure that things don't fall through the cracks. Camille is, I guess, how would you describe your role for Everything Embroidery Market?
Whatever you tell me to do.
Okay. No. Okay. So no.
So I would say scenes, helping find the venues and making sure that the booths are allocated to the right vendor, the schedule that the place that we have the event at is everything that we need to happen to make it a good event for the vendors and the attendees. Say, you probably won't see me as much on these lives on the floor, but I kind of just jump in wherever I need to and keep.
Yes. So broke up a little bit there, but you're really our behind the scenes liaison between the event itself and the venue. So everything that has to do with the venue. Like you said, you're contacting the venue, booking those rooms, making sure they know how big of a space we need, the layout of the space. You're making sure that we're coordinating with the decorator and the catering, audio-visual portion, all those other parts. You're our voice to them. And Norma's not here, but I'll, I guess, kind of describe what her role is. She's our vendor coordinator. So any information that we need to communicate to our vendors, which is a lot, she's that person. She's that, okay, so we need to make sure we have that. You're teaching a class. We need that information. What's your class name? What's the class description? Do you have preferences on when we want to teach that class? Any limitations in that class as far as how many people can be there? Do we have to have tables? Do we have to have electricity? Also, if you need lunches or anything like that. She also does the outreach to try and curate new vendors, which is a huge portion, and it takes up a whole bunch of time answering questions to potential new vendors as far as what is our event? What do we do? Why are you a good fit? Say what?
She's so good at it.
She is so good at it, though.
Yes. No, we love you, Norma. Yes. So we have an awesome team. I mean, we've said that already, but I think that with that, we do also come together weekly or bi-weekly to make sure that we're all on the same page. So I guess we can start from the beginning, right, Hope? That's what y'all want to know, right? Yes?
Exactly. From the beginning. Let's take it from the top.
From the top. Okay, so typically, Hope's dancing. So you guys who are listening and not watching this, Hope's dancing.
I hear a song in my head and it just go with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so from the top, what we typically do is we reach out to you guys, you guys being our attendees and our vendors, and y'all are awesome at telling us, hey, we want to see an event at this location, or I really think that this market needs to have a show like yours. And so from there, Camille will take that information and she'll reach out to lots of different venues in those various areas and see who can accommodate our event, because it's not just an event, right? We're teaching classes. So we need a large space that can accommodate all the booths. We need a space that can provide food for our attendees. We need a space that also has 5 to 6 or more rooms that are large enough to accommodate the class sizes that we need. There's some places that have breakout rooms that can fit 20 or 30 people, but we would sell out very quickly for some of our classes if we only had classroom sizes that could fit that. So step one is finding a venue or finding a location, then finding a venue that can fit our needs. And that's good for vendors as well, right? We've learned a lot as far as what makes it a good location. Ease of access. I don't know about you, but when I go on a trip, I like to find a place that also has good food or other attractions too, so that I can make my trip. I might be coming for Everything Embroidery Market, but the food's good. Like Lafayette, I cannot wait to eat all of the delicious Louisiana cuisine. That's what I'm not most excited about. Besides the show. Wait a second.
Pretty excited.
Besides the show, I'm very excited about that. So that's important too. And then letting you guys know what else is out there for things to do is also important. So once we have curated a location, it's Norma's job and signed contracts and, all of that stuff, all the back office stuff Camille's done. And now we kind of pass it on to Norma. So then Norma will reach out to vendors and say, this is the date, this is the location, this is what we need. And we'll start getting vendors to sign up. And as vendors sign up, it's all of our job, I guess, to try and fill in any holes that may be missing. So sometimes we have a whole bunch of digitizers come in, but maybe we need some more blanks, or maybe we need some more vinyl, or maybe, machines, or whatever it is. We're like, okay, we've got all of this, but we want to serve you a very well-rounded package. So then we start trying to go after those holes, right?
And we try to look in the area that we're in. So, because it's always easier to get local or nearby vendors to commit if they haven't done it before.
Right. Right.
With what holes we're trying to fill in.
Yes. Well, and we have an awesome group of vendors that follow us around the country, really. They're our staples and they come to every show, but we always have some local people that are new or will only travel, within their smaller region to a show. And so that's where we'll start filling in the spots, I guess. And it's, again, not just for the vendor floor. We want the vendor floor to be able to offer you a wide variety within the industry, but also our classes. So classes, Norma gets people to sign up and then they say yes or no, as far as teaching classes. And then Hope and I will spend a lot of time digging into, again, having a nice array of classes for you guys to choose from. Because while our name is embroidery and we want, and we do always have embroidery as part of our show, really it's evolved to garment decorating in general. So the heat press, the white toner printer, the sublimation, all of that, rhinestones, is part of our industry. And so we want to have classes that are specific to each one of those areas, and business classes, right?
Yeah. And so many people with businesses they want to see, can I add this on to my business and it make money, or it be lucrative, or is this too much? And it's the perfect way to really, when we're thinking about all of these, what's an easy thing that people can add to their business to make it, even better? Is this a good step? Or hobby, just, is this the next level? Is this the next step I want to take? And I feel like we really try to offer that so people can see, and maybe they find out something they didn't know about.
Right.
Which, I feel like we try really hard to do that when we're looking at classes. We're trying to give you an entry, a middle, an advanced class so that you can figure it out.
Right. Whatever level, wherever you're at, we try to meet you there with education that can help you grow. And really, I think that education piece is key to our show. And whether it's the digitizing or the software or the machines, we want you to see it, touch it, feel it, network with people that love what they're doing, and provide you top quality education. I'm just a huge believer that you should be around people that are doing the same thing or similar things to what you are doing. And so that's really what it comes down to. So that is a big portion of the planning phase, those classes. And if you look on our website, you'll see we have over 50 classes. And again, it's a lot of work as far as, I don't want to have 3 digitizing classes all at the same time. So not only finding those classes that appeal to all of you guys, but also scheduling them in a way that if you are coming specifically to learn digitizing, that you can fill your schedule throughout the event with digitizing classes and maybe sprinkle some other ones in. That's always a challenge. Let's be honest.
It gets tricky.
It is tricky, you know, and sometimes there's just no way to, there's going to be 2 classes that you want to take that are offered at the same time, and we can't, there's just no way to, I guess, skirt around that a little bit, but we do our best to try and schedule each class at a time that will be helpful and work for you. You know, one business class now, one digitizing class right now, one sublimation class, you know, and so it's, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but we try really hard to make it work for you. Okay, so we've got our venue, our location, got our venue, got our classes, got our vendors. Now we open registration for you guys. And that's another whole beast.
Yeah. Yes.
It is. It's gonna take a sip of water because I think I'm gonna need some. Okay, so once we figured out all those pieces of the puzzle, we have to present it to you guys so that you guys can sign up. And it's different for each venue. Some venues require certain things as far as ticketing software. There's different requirements depending on the state and the location that we're at. So number one, we have to figure out what those requirements are. And Camille is our liaison between us and our venue. And so that's communicated back to us. We get it in whatever the ticketing software is that we're using at that time. There's been a couple. And then we open registration, and it's so exciting, you know, because we've done all this work in the background for, you know, months. Typically it's months before registration opens. And then we get to see how excited you guys are. And it's so fun, you know. People will post on the page and they're like, we're excited, we're there, girls trip. And yeah, so the event is open, but our work doesn't stop. Which is fun, you know, it's good. So once registration is open, that's when, so Norma's always, so until the day we are actually at the event, Norma's continuing to communicate with vendors, making sure they have the information that they need, letting them know how setup's going to be, letting them know, you know, answering any questions. Where's parking? Where can I set up? Where's the hotel? Here's the goodie bag information, you know, all the different, what are you going to be giving away? What type of product are you going to be selling so that we can promote it? So that's what Norma's doing. Camille is working really hard to make sure that, again, nothing falls through the cracks as far as the audio visual. That's something that I didn't realize when we started this, how in depth that would be, right? Because I mean, again, every location's different. And so you have to know the questions to ask. And we've learned, again, a ton. Every time we do these, we learn something. But for each classroom, we have to have the speakers, the projection equipment, the right hookups. So if it's the microphones. If it's a hands-on class, we have to have electricity there for you to be able to plug your machines in, your computers.
Like the tables and chairs versus just regular chairs.
Right. And we just recently started the demo portion inside the vendor hall to give you guys a little bit better, well-rounded event. And, you know, that was new to us at the last show. So we learned a lot there, but we have to make sure that if we're providing something that it's high quality. And the food portion, right? So you're there all day long as an attendee and a vendor, and you're hungry. We have to make sure we've got food and drinks, and that you guys feel comfortable the entire time that you're there. We don't want anyone to be upset for any reason, and so that's something that Camille really spearheads and makes sure that we're in line. And I mean, and that process also is from like start to finish. We sign that contract that this is where we're going to be. And then there's weekly, sometimes daily, sometimes multiple times a day emails talking to those people.
Yeah.
And the decorator. So their booths, every booth that is at the show is created by a pipe and drape. And we have to communicate with them as far as how many vendors we have, how many booths each vendor has, the requests for the location. We have to make sure they have electricity if they want it, the internet,
carpet.
Yes, carpet if they want it. Sometimes vendors will actually ship their product in instead of hauling it in themselves. And if they're having it shipped, that has to be coordinated with the venue. So again, there's lots of moving parts, and Camille spearheads that portion. As for me and Hope, after it's launched, we don't do anything. No.
Not a thing. Just sit back over here, relax.
Oh, man.
Lies.
Oh, lies. Complete lies. Yes. No. So what do we do? It's our job to basically do the marketing and the promotion, right? So we do these podcasts between every show, and that's it's kind of a separate thing from the show, but a lot of times we will bring on vendors and instructors to chat. But as soon as this is done, so this is the last episode for the season. As soon as this is done, we hit marketing super, super hard with our vendors and our instructors, because it's our job to let you know what you'll be learning when you're there, right? And what you'll see and what you'll encounter. So we try to do a video, some sort of live video recording with not always everyone, but our goal is to be able to have one with every single vendor and every single instructor before every single show. So if we have 50 classes, we want to go over all 50 classes. If we've got 30 vendors, we want to talk with all 30 vendors. And that way you guys know what to expect when you get there.
And you can always rewatch it.
Yes.
Just because we do it live does not mean it does save to our Facebook page, and we also have a YouTube that it's on. And if it's a vendor that is a returning or an instructor that's returning, and that they may be teaching the same class, although they might change it, but if you're like just trying to look to get a feel for it, you can also look at past lives with those instructors and see what they said, because they're going to explain all of their classes so that you can really get a feel. Like I said, they might change it and tweak it from show to show if it is something that they're reteaching, but you would get the basic gist if you're trying to figure out your schedule.
Right. So we do the vendor lives, and we try and do at least one weekly, typically closer to the event. It's more just because we're ramping up a bit, getting ready to present our show to you guys. This last show, we were on the local news in Myrtle Beach. So that's another portion for marketing, trying to reach out to the local media outlets, whether it's, I don't know, radio. If we would love to do radio, love to do the news. Maybe Hope would love to do it more than me because I don't like to be on camera, but part of the job.
It's fun.
It is fun. It's exciting. It's different.
It's exciting when people come in because they said they saw you on the news.
Mhm.
Like,
got started, and Christina would call me and say, "Oh my God, on these lives or whatever, I have no idea what I'm doing." But I would have to say a lot of comments at the show about what a great job you do and how it's nice to see you from the lives or heard you on the podcast. So
Yes.
for what it's worth, I think you're doing a good.
Thank you. No, I mean, I do think it's good. And people want to support people that they know. And this is our way of meeting you, I guess, before we get to physically meet you in person at the event, and introducing you to our vendors and all of that. Because we're all just people, we're all people. We're all trying to learn. We're all there either doing business or shopping, or both. I'm not gonna lie, I've never ever gone to an event and not purchased something for me personally. I mean, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
But yes, so we do a lot of the marketing side. Again, continue to do our weekly or bi-weekly meetings. We'll do the email campaigns, the Facebook posts, the Instagram, all that stuff that goes along with just getting the word out. The image and video creation, all of that is part of it. So then what do we do? I don't know. Again, we sit back, we do nothing.
Yeah. We relax.
Yes.
Not.
No. And as we get closer, so like the couple weeks before the event, it really wraps up. We're making sure we've got the tickets, the name badges, the goodie bags, all of the promotional stuff, whether it's the posters or the signage or the giveaway items. A lot of times our vendors will ship the giveaway items to us beforehand. And like I said earlier, if a vendor has told us or told Norma what they're planning to give away, we try to use that to let you guys know what it is, what they're bringing, all those things. Really, it's a whole lot of just trying to make sure nothing falls through the cracks because there's so many moving parts. And again, we want to provide you the very best show possible, period. My son is walking in the door. Yes.
Snack. I'd also like to say snacks keep us going.
Snack.
Time we're doing this.
Yes.
Snacks and coffee.
Snacks and coffee. Yes. Today I decided to go away from the coffee and have some water because I was like, okay, feeling a little jittery. We need to too much coffee.
I only had 2 cups. I'll probably hit another cup after this.
Yes. Okay. So we load up. I know we've mentioned this several times on the podcast, but we also own Love That Cotton. So we've got a big trailer and we load all the Love That Cotton product that's coming to the show in the trailer first. Then we load all the Everything Embroidery Market stuff. That way we can unload Everything Embroidery stuff off first and get everything.
That's another thing too we didn't mention is Camille will tell me all of the signs and posters and all of that stuff that we need. And we then talk to our graphic design gal.
Yes.
And she will get it and then we'll get it to Camille and Camille orders all of the posters and signage and all of that stuff too. And that is what a part of what goes on the truck first or last.
Comes off first.
Camille, how do you know how to order all those posters and all that stuff?
You know what? I just keep a list and I try to, a lot of my coworkers, my to-do list, my checklist, make fun of me if you want, but it keeps me, like observing from previous shows. We may add some whatever it is that we need. I think this last show we added a flag over to draw more attention over there, and that was new. So it's just something new every time.
Yes.
You got to keep those lists.
Yeah. So
I
that's
have about 7 that you can't see right now.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what y'all are good at. I am not good at lists at all. And keeping track of, I'm okay with writing it down, but then keeping it for when it's actually relevant is another story. I'm like, I need to remember this. I'll write it down. And
well, one of my biggest, maybe this is a tip for people that are trying to do it. I mean, I have my calendar that I write everything in. And then if it's something that I need for later, if I can go back to a certain date, then I try to put it on the date that is needed. Like whether it's 3 weeks from now, I need to remember to make sure that a graphic's ready for a poster, whatever. I'll write it on those dates, and I might write it just up in the header part of just saying, hey, reminder before that. Or I just put it in my notes on my phone if it's something that I know we'll have to go to often. But notes, note life.
Yes.
Lots.
And they come in handy. Because like we said, or I don't know, I keep repeating myself today, but every single show we learn stuff, not just like trial and error. We learn a lot from trial and error, but we learn stuff from our vendors. Our vendors are like, it would be nice if we could provide this. And our attendees are like, this was great, but this would be better. And, there's really 4 of us that are working on this as much as we can. And we've got other team members that help, with various things. But really, it's Hope, myself, Camille, and Norma that are spearheading it for the most part. And while 4 heads are great, the 1,000 people that are at the show, like that's the feedback that we get from y'all really helps us dictate what works.
We take it all into account. Anytime you give us any sort of feedback, we listen. We don't just, it's not in one ear and out the other. And we all hear different things throughout the show because we're all in different places and we all have our roles. Mm-hmm. So different people will come up to each one of us and tell us feedback, good, bad, whatever. And we take it, I have like a notebook that I write it in so that when we have our big meeting after the show, I can say these things were said to me.
Right.
And, so we take everybody's opinions, whether you're a vendor, whether you're an attendee, it doesn't matter. We want your opinion so that we can continue to make the show better.
Right. And while we can't do every single thing that everyone says,
right,
a lot of times we'll hear the same thing more than once. And that's when we're like, okay, this clearly can be done better. What can we do about it? This last show, we added in some volunteers, and those people were also more ears, just in the show. So I think that was a good addition. Okay, so we take everything that you guys have to say into consideration. Then we are at the show. So the last thing on the trailer, the first thing coming off is all of our EEM stuff. And typically we get there a couple days early, or a day and a half or so early, so that we can make sure that everything is in its place and ready when the vendors show up. Because typically those vendors roll in with their trailers and their trucks and all of their stuff, and they're like, time to go, because it takes a long time to set up those awesome booths that you guys get to shop in. So we get there, we set up our marketing material, our banners, our table, our EEM, all the signage and all of that. We make sure we take a look at all of the classrooms. Does it have everything that it's supposed to have? Because it doesn't always have that. And if it doesn't, we talk to the person that we need to talk to. Inside the vendor hall, we have our decorator come in. Now, prior to this day, Camille and them have been communicating, and we've got diagrams and all sorts of stuff that everything in theory should be correct, but sometimes it's not. So we do a walkthrough periodically because things change. It's dynamic as they're, setting up the vendor booths. And we make sure that all of that is correct. Give typically we've got little packets for our vendors, make sure that's in each booth that they're supposed to be in. Again, we're talking to the venue, again, to the catering, again, to the audio visual, making sure everything is what it's supposed to be. And then
that's a whole animal too, setting up that, getting all the goodie bags ready.
Yes.
We often have fun kiddos helping us with that.
Yes. So, but first it's the vendor goodie bags, which a lot of times, like the last couple times, we had them, if not completely made, at least partially made prior to going, so that we can have that in their booth when they're ready. And then the vendors show up at the allotted time, and then they unload and go to town. Yes, go to town setting up their booth. Now, while they're setting up their booth, typically not an EEM member, but a Love That Cotton member will also be setting up the Love That Cotton booth. Try and keep it separate, just because we can't do all the things. And when we're at the show, I feel like EEM is my priority. We got to trust that our LTC staff is taking care of LTC. So then, like Camille said, goodie bags, they are awesome. You guys love them. So typically it's a bag that's filled with little goodies from the different vendors. Sometimes people or vendors that weren't able to make it at that show, but they sent us something, whether it's a little freebie. Sometimes it's a piece of fabric or some vinyl or a discount code or candies, pins, chocolates, chopsticks. Yes. Lots of different thread,
hand sanitizer,
different things. It's always different. Every show is a little bit different. Just like every show, our classes and our vendors are a little bit different. But sometimes our vendors will send that to us beforehand. Sometimes they give it to us as they're arriving. So if, it takes some time to fill 1,000 bags. So we call in the children, and they are awesome. And it's not just the kids,
my mom.
It's your mom. I mean, we all do it. And we get those bags stuffed, and people are so excited to get them. Then once bags are stuffed and booths are set up, and typically at the same time, we do have some hands-on workshops going on. So it's a little bit of chaos, fun chaos. The registration booth typically already going because we have those hands-on classes, and registration from that point on pretty much doesn't close. There's someone in the registration booth to get you registered. They'll give you your name badge and your goodie bag and point you in the right direction of whatever vendor you're looking at or looking for, whatever class you're looking for. And then, okay. All right. Norma spends a lot of time in the vendor hall, making sure the vendors have everything they need. Were they able to stop? Because sometimes they're even They can't even stop to eat lunch. And we don't want anyone not eating lunch. So Norma sometimes will help with that. Or if a vendor's in a class and they don't have anyone to cover their booth, Norma will step in and watch a booth. I've watched a booth. Hope likes to do gymnastics while filming at the demo area.
I do. I've been working on a few moves. Better
Y'all
sign up.
Yes, if you weren't in Myrtle Beach, you missed some fun. Like I said, the demos were new, and we had a camera basically videoing the portion, like so that the people that were watching could see if they were using a machine or anything, and then it was projected onto a screen. And Hope stepped in and was an awesome acrobatic videographer, and she had to do some moves. Yes.
See, I do anything for the job.
Yes. See, we're committed here at EEM. Typically, there's lots of running around. Whether it's, I need an extra table. I need a machine for this class. There's just always something. I can't find this class. Can you show it to me? I don't know. I lost my wallet at this booth. Can you help me find it? Thankfully, people turn in their stuff. There's almost always someone loses a bag or a phone or something, and we're able to reunite it with that person, which is amazing. And then we are all exhausted and we go eat some yummy food.
Not gonna lie, we all look forward to when we can sit.
Yes. There's not a lot of sitting during the day, but it's amazing, and it's so fun to watch you guys learning and meeting new friends and going to that class and being like, I'm going to try something new, or watching those big machines go out the door, and you're like, oh, you're going to do something fun with that. Or watching the group of ladies, lots of different groups of ladies and men, there's men too, that come and they make it a girls trip or, a weekend trip, and they've made all these fun shirts. They're all matching and they're there and they're going to have a good time, and they've got high energy, and I want to stop what I'm doing and go hang out with them. Sometimes I'm not kidding. I really want to. I just get to snap a picture and be like,
think of me.
Yes. So anyways, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's always a whirlwind. It's always exciting. It's always different. It's always fun. We could not do it without our team here and our awesome, amazing vendors. And y'all.
And our attendees. We do it for the attendees.
Yes. And so on that note, I'll say thank you. Thank you guys if you've ever been to any of our events, thank you. And if you are even remotely considering going, sign up for Lafayette. It's going to be fun. And we want to meet you. We want to come say hi, give us hugs, be that group of energetic people that show up with all the fun things that they made, and come tell us about the purchases and those classes and the things, those new vendors that you met. It's going to be awesome. So again, go to eemshows.com, check out the full list of vendors, which hopefully we'll be getting plenty more. I know Norma's working hard on that, as well as the classes that we've got ready for you guys. Can't wait to see you in Lafayette.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Follow us at Everything Embroidery Market on Facebook and Instagram for all of our latest updates. We will see you next week.